like and subscribe. Now, what is a question you wish people wouldn't ask you? It's better now, but people used to ask me, which part of Korea are you from? Then I would say north, because I want to just F around with them for asking stupid question. Then they would ask, is that the good side or bad side? So jokes on me, is that the good side or bad side God? That made me laugh. How's the weather up there? Do you play basketball? My friend, who's also 6 feet 7 inch responds with, do you play mini golf? How's your love life going? It hasn't been going for years. You know this. Love life is a rather grandiose term for staring at women on the bus. What happened to your neck? I have a big scar at my throat. Had my thyroid removed because of cancer. It's never fun to tell the story and people are all like, oh I'm so sorry after that. Definitely a way to kill the mood. I got hanged for internet piracy, but the hacker 4chan rescued me. I got too frisky in the bedroom on Valentine's Day. It's a tattoo of my butthole repeated 67 times, and overlaid on top of itself. The bungee cord snapped. The umbilical cord snapped. My boss snapped. I love the idea with the butthole tattoo. One time I told a coworker I was a spy in my past life, and got the scar from when a policeman in Russia tried to kill me during interrogations with a knife on my throat. Good times. As a single dad, I wish people wouldn't ask me about my son's mother. 9 times out of 10, they just want gossip. My mother died when I was a child. People made idiotic assumptions about my father's ability to parent, feed the kids. You know they don't eat at home. Honey, do you want to talk about girl things? Oh, what's the name of your maid? I know you can't keep the house this clean. A guy went out with a guy who had been widowed a few years ago. He raised 3 kids mostly on his own. Had a successful career. Was super fit. Neat freak. My mum asked me, who cleans his house? To be fair, my mum is a stupid bee. I love the argument I have every year with the school. We need her contact info for emergencies. Nope. Absolutely forbidden, and here's the document backing up she lost all rights. And if you take a cursory glance at page 3 you can fill in the blanks as to why she is to have 0 contact. We still need to be able to text her for important dates and in the event of emergencies. That brings back some bad memories. I had sole custody of my son. And back in 1996 his mother showed up out of the blue. Probably just got out of jail. After 3 years, the principal just handed him over without so much as a phone call to me, until after he was on a plane with the ex. Took a month to get him back, had to go back to court, and the judge was so pissed he nearly threw her in jail. My son was in therapy for over a year because of that episode. The principal stood by her decision, but quit and left before a lawsuit was filed by us. You are doing it all wrong. You are supposed to just give them a completely made up name. The more absurd the better. Then give them the number for an erotic phone line as her contact info. If they call you on it, tell them she works there and that is her preferred contact number, but she will only answer if they insist on talking to Mustafa. I don't even have kids and this made me angry. What kind of bureaucratic nightmare do they live in that they can't understand the simple fact that the mother is bad news? She murdered people who asked stupid questions and is now in prison. This, although it was somewhat funny and sad when the boys were younger and they just blurt out she died. MMHMM. No more questions now. Len, get back to pushing them on the swing. Oh, so you're single then? How are you disabled? Leg disabled. Oh, no. My name's Jim, and I'm fine. Thank you. I have a very close friend who has arthritis. She's 24. There's days it's so bad she physically cannot move out of bed from the pain. People always think she's faking, just because she looks normal, healthy, and is an attractive young woman. I'm my 80-year-old grandmother's designated driver. She never had an interest in learning how to drive when she was young. Thus, her placard is registered to my car. I cannot use it if she's not with me. Several times, I have parked in disabled spots to pick her up inside a grocery store, pharmacy, doctor's office, etc. The amount of times I have gotten asked, since I'm a 21-year female, what my disability is, or you're disabled. Even notes written on receipts or notebook paper and stuck on my windshield wipers, you don't look disabled. If you are, hope you get well soon, is shameful. Mind your business. I always walk out with my grandmother after the fact and it still upsets me. Hope you get well soon. Rodful. Sure, some disabilities are short term. But if it isn't, that's such a terrible note. So how do you do? Insert literally anything. I have brachytactyly and was born with no fingers. I get asked a lot of questions. Also I text using Swift key, like swipe. I know that's what you were wondering. Holy crap. Thank you for the silver. And I was not expecting this to turn into an Amma. But I'll try to get to everybody. Also edited. I did used to use swipe. Now I use Swift key. I will post pics of how I knit and crochet. I know it's hard to imagine, but true. Thanks for all the questions / support and interest in my sex life. How do you do pronouncing brachytactyly? Brachytactyly. It took me a while to get to. Them. What do you do for a living? Me. Retail. The no. Me. Yeah, I hate it too. Oh. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, which is a thing people only say about things they think something is wrong with. I'm married, and we have one young child. Is he going to get a brother / sister anytime soon? Or some other variation? Especially from someone you barely know, or just met. Listen. Everything about having kids is personal, from the act of procreation to the impact on your life to the financial considerations, not to mention the feelings about it from the parents, which may not always be aligned. Like please, I told you my kid's name, and how old he is. Now you wanna bypass superficial acquaintance small talk and go right to deeply personal plans for our life. Fop. This is gonna get lost since the post is so old, but I'll get it off my chest anyway. I've had a speech impediment since I was able to talk. I stutter on words at seemingly random times. Really no specific pattern or sound. When I get nervous or pressure is really high. As a kid I couldn't string more than a few words together, but through school and into college it got much better. As an adult I really don't have many issues in normal conversation. But I absolutely hate having to introduce myself in a group setting, conference meeting, etc. I seem to stutter on my name 90% of the time. It's pretty embarrassing. Anyway, the question I hate is when someone asks, "Did you forget your name?" I don't know what kind of rock they've lived under, but it completely turns me off from that person for years. Mostly it's meant to be a harmless joke, but if they'd simply put one and one together they'd realize how thoughtless the comment was. Anyway, that's it. When are you going to have children? Or variations of that question. I used to be polite and now I start talking about all of the tests and treatments we have gone through to still have no children. Well Martha, if you didn't want to hear in detail about my ovaries and my husband's motility, why did you even ask? I always hope it will shock them out of asking someone else such a personal and sometimes painful question. I feel like the too much information approach is the way to go here. When he stops finishing on my tits. Or, we've been going at it at least twice a day, but just aren't having any luck. I know right? I mean, I'm full of his happy batter right now after a quickie on the car ride over, but it seems that none of the little bastards can find its way to my eggs. When he stops finishing on my tits. That would be even better, if you're both here, when the question is asked, and the man replies something, like you prefer on the face. Having this sort of conversation once as a single guy was especially frustrating. I've been single for years, and there's no sign of any woman popping into my life suddenly anytime soon. Oh. Some people might think I'm selfish for not spending my money on raising a child. So, I'm supposed to just knock some shit up. So hypothetical people can feel better that my money isn't being spent on just me. F off. Yeah, point this really gets on my nerves. First it's how long are you together? Then it's when are you gonna get married? Now it's when are you gonna have kids? Jeez. Why are you wasting your time doing something that I enjoy doing? Why are you wasting time worrying about what I'm doing? I'm taking this response for later, probably to dig myself further into a metaphorical hole. Yes FFS. Are you going to have another baby when my child is not even 10 months old? 10, 9. So I guess you're behind schedule. Ha. My aunt accidentally got pregnant immediately. My cousins ended up in the same school year. I got asked this question while I was still pregnant. Let me get through this one first. Geez. We keep trying, but the doc says you can't get twins that way. Will you have children in the future? They changed my life and made me happier, and you should experience the same thing. Even if you're lesbian you still can have children point yada yada. No, I would not for the reasons. 1. I know deep in my soul that I'm not a parent type because I have bad patience and can get annoyed fast. 2. I'm happy with my current freedom. 3. I just don't want it. I just don't want it. This should really be enough. You wanna have kids? No. 8. Fair enough. How is everything going with the adoption process? I put on a brave face and answer optimistically when in reality the process has not been going well. I know people are genuinely interested and don't mean harm, but it's a tough question to answer without breaking down. When are you getting married? Getting married doesn't stop it. The question just changes to when are you having kids? We don't know if we want kids. Oh, you'll change your mind. B. Why did you ask if you were just going to dismiss my answer? I'm 21 and anytime the topic comes up and I say I'm not sure that I even want kids, people always say that I'm not even in a relationship or in any position to be considering that idea. Why do people feel the need to say things like that? Can't they just be okay with the idea that not everyone wants kids? Next time tell them to pay for your wedding, since they keep asking. Why are you so quiet? Why are you so loud? For real though, I'm 3 feet away. Please stop shouting. Also, I don't seem nearly so quiet. If you just shut the F up once in a while and let someone else talk. I prefer listening. Oh man, this had an aunt who would ask this to me at every family get together. Would make me feel so much more uncomfortable. Almost everyone is that your married name? Me, nope. Never been married. Almost everyone. Oh, point, so that's your maiden name? Me, yup. My father is full-blooded Hispanic and my mother is basically all Irish. I take after my mom. Fair skin, freckles, blue eyes. So when they see my very Spanish last name, without fail, that is pretty much the exact conversation every time. Like, yes, a white girl can be half Hispanic. Why don't you get a haircut? As a dude with long hair, I feel your pain. My son has hair past his shoulders. The amount of rude people who say oh my god, that's a boy, when I say this is my son. Name. And most don't leave it at that. They keep going. He looks like a girl. That's a boy. Really? Right in front of him. He's only 4, but he dresses totally like a boy. He just has long hair. It's starting to hurt his feelings. He likes his hair. Working in the emergency department on the trauma team, and previously working for the fire department, people ask me all the time what's the worst/craziest thing have you seen? Or sometimes people reference some hospital TV drama or Chicago fire, etc, asking if it's really like the TV shows. I don't want to relive the worst things I've ever seen. There is a reason I go to therapy every week. And no, it's not like TV. Not every patient has some life or death thing. Most patients are treated like a walk-in clinic and could have saved loads of time and money going to an urgent care or calling their doctor. Yeah, I'll echo this one. Military, fire, police, medical. This is like the go-to question. Great way to kill a conversation. Do you think vaccines caused your children's autism? Nah, they had it before we vaccinated them, but by doing so they now have super autism, a rare disorder only dumb FS, like you might swallow. When are you all going to have a baby? My wife and I have been married for 4 years, and we had a miscarriage last year. I know not everyone knows about it, and they mean well, but it still brings up a sore spot in our relationship that neither of us had any control over, so it's difficult to just laugh it off. P.S. My wife is actually 7 weeks pregnant now, so we are hoping for the best this time around. People don't ask me questions. Why? Hey wait, that's illegal. Is that a violin? It says backquote viola on the case for F's sake. Oh, you're the guy to set violin always makes fun of. How's the job search going? There was a period on my life when I was unemployed for quite some time and struggling to find something. I absolutely hated being asked that question. Even though I know the person asking didn't mean any harm. It just made me feel like and gave me more anxiety about things. If I had good news to share, trust me I would share it with you. So please don't ask that question. It's going Thanks. The worst part about that for me is, when people try to be helpful, you should just walk in some place and ask them if they need anyone. Firstly, that's not how you get jobs where I live, and in the field I want a job in. Second, thank you for assuming I'm not actively trying to get a job, but I've read there are so many jobs available in your field. Again, kind of a backhand slap telling me I'm not doing enough to get a job. People forget that, while there might be jobs available, in my field it's a buyer's market, so the people with experience get the job. Every single so-called helpful comment all comes back to I think you're not doing enough. Getting a job should be so easy for you. I've eventually settled on just saying I don't want to talk about it. When people ask me how the job search is going, it answers the question and lets them know I don't want helpful comments. I used to get asked why I was single all the effing time. I have no effing idea, cousin Sheila / best friend / Karen from accounts / Tinder date / brother-in-law. If I did, then I would fix the effing problem. Now that I finally have my first boyfriend, almost, at 30, I'm legit now copping back quote, but I thought you loved being single. Why would someone's Tinder date ask them why they're single? Are you okay? What's wrong when clearly nothing is wrong at all? Also, why are you mad? I'm not mad. Yes you are. No I'm not. Yes. No. I'm not. See, you're mad I told you. The trick here is to come up with a brand new response every time, that is, why are you mad? Because my application for living on Mars got rejected, because I followed my dreams of becoming an Olympic bobsledder, because I recently found out Godzilla doesn't really live in Japan, because Deepak Chopra doesn't get the recognition he deserves, because I just found out Ni has a silent K. I don't know, you get the idea. W hearty color is TH's, immediately after learning I'm colorblind. Same as when you take off your glasses and everyone is like point how many finger SOMIH holding UP. I hate whenever someone says, can I try on your glasses? And when you let them, they go OHWOYO you really can't SEE. Would you kick a disabled guy out of his wheelchair and go, OHWOYO you really can't walk? Rando person in town. What are you? Asian me. Rando person in town. I mean where are you from? Me. I was born in Pennsylvania. Rando person in town. No really. Where are you from? Why don't you drink alcohol? If I give a real answer, people have a go at me for being depressing. But if I say I'd rather not explain, folk continually push for it. It's like being a non-drinker in Scotland. Makes you the equivalent of some rare wild animal to be studied. Alcohol is the only drug you have to justify not consuming. It's really annoying. Especially as a recovering alcoholic. I don't want to explain that to someone I don't know well. If depressing isn't the name, go a faker route. Pretend it's a health concern or something. Or lighter than that, just make bullshit that isn't relevant, like more of a coffee man than an alcohol man myself. Usually a humorous rejection without a real answer can provide the same result as anything genuine, but without consequence. Another non-drinker here. This is always a tough one to answer. I usually go for something along the lines of I don't care for the taste and hope they don't keep poking at it. If that fails, I'm driving. Is usually a good go-to. Interesting how alcohol is basically the only drug you have to explain why you don't use. Who are you? And how did you get in my house? I'm a locksmith. And I'm a locksmith. As a British male living abroad, when people find out I'm British they always ask which team I support. I'm not the slightest bit interested in football, and after 20 years I still haven't worked out a suitably funny answer to the question. Any ideas? The Eastershire North Southwesterners. What are you? They're asking me about what race I am, because you can't tell just from looking at me, but the way that question is phrased is so dehumanizing. I'm a person. What are you? Why don't you have a girlfriend? Because I work weird hours and don't get to go out and meet people. Also, I'm socially awkward as F. Quit asking. Mom. Username checks out. Speaking of usernames, nice username. Yeah. This one bothers me. There's not many answers I can give that don't make the situation awkward, because I can't find a willing participant. I feel like they are just trying to get me to publicly admit how unattractive I am. Where are you from? I'm not. I moved 18 times by the time I was 16. I pay taxes in Colorado. Driver's license is Washington. born in Missouri, graduated HS in Colorado, spent 1/3 of my adult life outside the country. I'm from the US. Any more specific is generally not a very easy thing to nail down. If you're B, why don't you just date girls, so you don't have to worry about homophobics? My answer, if you like Pepsi and Coke, why would you only limit yourself to one? Why are you gay? I don't know. Why I'm gay. Why? Do you want to know so bad? Why did you cry? It wasn't worth crying for. Shut up. What's it like being a twin? My response is usually I don't know. Normal. What's it like not being a twin? We don't have special powers and we can't read each other's minds. We literally just look alike. That's what twins want me to think. But I'm onto you, yes, I pixie yes.